All right, welcome into Bettor's Last Stand, show number 36. Matt and Chris here with you on a nice Wednesday afternoon here in Wheeling. Although the weather is nice, but the traffic and the things going on around town are not.
No.
Saw an accident on the way home. It took me like 20 minutes to get from my house to down here, which should normally take me about 2.5 minutes. Over top of the tunnel coming back from work, there was like fire trucks, ambulances. When I was coming home, I don't know, around 3 o'clock or so, but... So it looked like there was a car wreck or something up there. So disaster everywhere. Disaster at Pittsburgh PPG Paints Arena last night.
Wow.
Just a horrible, horrible game. Just the Penguins just don't look to be I mean, they're just so bad right now. I just can't even describe it. It was a horrible job by the Penguins last night. Maybe one of the worst losses in franchise history. Not that I really didn't even expect them to win. I mentioned it on the radio to Mark yesterday about I would have no confidence betting them at -$5 to win a game last night. What were your thoughts on that? Jari's a loser.
Yes, he is, and that third goal that he gave up,
pathetic. Pathetic.
That was awful. But I just found it so interesting that they could not capitalize on that opportunity against a team that had lost 11 out of 12.
Yes.
Had a lot of AHLers. The guy that scored the second goal, his name was Buddy. Yeah. Buddy whatever. Yeah. And I think he's 31. He's played 60 games in NHL. That was his fourth career goal. And it was a bad goal.
It never fails though with the Penguins. We talk. You and I joke about it all the time. Mm-hmm. These guys who never score. Goalies who are terrible shut us out.
Yes,
it's time after time. This team, it just can't be trusted. No. It's a shame too because you got, and I heard on the Fat Man show today. I didn't realize that Malkin and Crosby played every game. They played every.
That's
game.
the first time ever.
Yeah. And
they wasted that. Yeah,
I mean, and they got Jason Zucker's best season ever.
Yep,
Letang's still been solid. I mean, it just
Gensel had 35 goals.
Horrendous job by the bottom end guys. The defense core sucks.
Terrible.
And the goaltending is pathetic. Mm-hmm. We'll never get a game stolen by a goalie.
No.
They cannot re-sign that guy. They need to do an entire house cleaning. So if you're not aware, the Penguins likely by the time you listen to this show will be eliminated from the playoffs as the Islanders and
they just
Canadians
need 1 point.
They need
right?
they need a regulation loss tonight for the Penguins to have any chance.
Regulation, yeah.
So if the Islanders get it to OT against the lowly Canadians, and this is at Belmont Park Arena there out on Long Island, their brand new arena. I don't even remember what it's called.
That was the one that was in Uniondale, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the old
but
one.
the new one's right next to Belmont Park. I don't even remember what bank it's called, but that's all they need to do is get a point tonight.
Yeah. And one other note from that game last night that you were probably aware of that, everybody's these lower teams are getting in the lottery trying to get that Connor Bedard, the number one pick.
Yeah, no, they cut their chances down.
So prior to last night, the Blackhawks had 25% chance.
Yeah,
now it's down to 11.
Yeah. Ben Chilwell just red carded as things continue to go well for Chelsea.
Yeah, I heard they were down.
They stink. They absolutely stink. It makes no sense. Spent more money than any club in the world over the last probably 6 months, and a clear red card.
Oh yeah. Are they down 1-0?
Yeah, and they're going to be they'll probably say that was outside the box, but anyway, Real Madrid, a far better team. Champions League soccer going on right now. AC Milan leads Napoli 1-0. Napoli's a team I tipped on here to maybe win the Champions League. They've kind of had a little speed bump right now. Real Madrid and Manchester City looking pretty strong. City rolled yesterday, so we'll keep an eye on that as we get closer. And also, just to touch on soccer, English Premier League winding down now, just a few matches left. Manchester City's hunting down Arsenal a little bit. Arsenal with a bad giveaway. They drew Liverpool on Sunday. They were up 2-0, blew a 2-0 lead. had it settled for a draw, so those still alive. I'd even take a look at Betting City right now, maybe minus 165 or something. They can definitely win the league now, and they're looking pretty strong in the Champions League, but they always choke. So let's see what we got going on here right now. Real Madrid is, I don't know. Oh, the other kid, it's a free kick. I thought it was going to be a penalty because I saw Benzema. Anyway, Chelsea season's been dreadful. The Penguins season's been dreadful. Yes. Miami Hurricanes at least made the Final Four for me. Football, we absolutely stink. Baseball off to a decent start. Orioles looking all right. Pirates, Red Sox will both be kind of similar teams.
Pirates got shut out today.
Yeah, it wasn't a good performance, but the Astros are just a hard team to win series from because they're so stable. Like Yordan Alvarez didn't even play today, and they didn't even need him. So Astros just a really good franchise, good team. Let's talk BLS picks from last week. We were up 7.8 units. It's a solid week. Chris, you were in the plus category.
Good.
2-0 in the NHL and the XFL, 1-1 in the UFC.
I did terrible in my baseball.
Baseball was 0-2.
Yeah, I was 0-2 in baseball.
Everybody has a bad spot. And your boy Minwoo Lee.
I'm going to stick with him. But Minwoo.
Minwoo couldn't get it done.
He was on his way home on what, Friday?
Yes.
Or whenever.
Maybe Saturday. Yeah. Well, no, he probably could have left Friday because it was bad. Coach was down minus 2.2. Had Jordan Spieth in the mix. Neither one of us benefited from John Rahm winning. We had several guys in the hunt to win that. Sam, another winner in racing, had Chris Bell as one of his picks, 7-1, so he was up about 5.2 units. I was up positive 3.9. Decent in golf. I was about plus 150 with some of my top 10s and top 5s that were in there. Really nearly came through with Koepka, but that was still a good performance. Some of the guys in the Live Golf Tour performed well enough for us to turn a profit. Was decent in the AFL. Finally, 2-0 in the NBA. How about that? I didn't even watch the crap.
Gotta love it.
2-1 in soccer. So maybe we'll keep the positive vibes going. As we mentioned, the Penguins, an embarrassing loss last night to the Blackhawks, and their playoff hopes are on basically life support right now. Only one hockey series that is set up to be played right now, as we know who's playing each other for certain, and that is Toronto and Tampa right now. And Toronto minus 145 to win that series, along with and then on the other side of that, Tampa plus 125. What are your thoughts on that matchup? I know it's highly anticipated, and maybe the third straight year they've played each other, I believe, at some point in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the Toronto would. I don't know. They just seem like they're maybe it's their time. Maybe not to win it all, but Tampa's getting older, even though they still have star power with Stamkos and the point. And who's the other guy? Kucherov.
Yeah,
in the goalie. So I wouldn't discount them. But Toronto, obviously, they have home ice, right? Which I don't even know how much that factors in anything anymore. I mean,
it honestly didn't matter because last year they lost Game 7 at home to Tampa.
Yes, they did. I do remember that.
Yeah, I mean, law of averages says it's Toronto's time, but man, I tell you, I'm just like I don't believe until I see, and I'll take a shot with Vasilevsky maybe in that series. I'll wait though. I'm hoping to get a better price. So betting tip. If you like Tampa at all in this series, wait for Game 1, let it go, and maybe hope Toronto wins Game 1 like they should, and then you're going to get a better price on Tampa. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be taking a wait-and-see approach. Maybe Toronto wins Game 1, Tampa comes back, but I trust Vasilevsky more than I do anybody in the pipes for Toronto. But like you said, it seems like it's due for these Canadian teams. They've got to win at some point. And they're better because Tampa is getting old. They do have a better goalie, but their guys are a little old. Their depth isn't what it has been the last few years. Going to be a tough out, nonetheless.
And you got so what do you see? You have Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Toronto.
Yeah,
in the playoffs as far as the Canadian teams
go.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
because Calgary's been eliminated. They were eliminated the other night.
Nashville's not Canadian. But, so I don't know. I mean, Winnipeg, I mean, they could do some damage. They're not a bad team.
I liked Winnipeg. I know
we talked about them earlier in the year.
In the year, I like the way they play defense, and they can win low-scoring games. Brad's team is just BP. Back-to-back fucking bombs.
That guy destroyed Allen.
At Wrigley Field. I don't even know who that guy is. Jared Kelenic? Boy, I got to tell you, I really don't know who he is. And they threw it back, those idiots at Wrigley Field. Our Cubbies not looking good right now. A team, they've been okay. They're about what I expected.
Way too early. But yeah, Matt, get back to the NHL. The West. The seedings are still up for grabs, aren't they?
Lots of things. Both divisions are still up for grabs.
Yes.
So a lot to be decided. So right now you got Colorado playing Seattle. If it were to end today, Dallas, Minnesota, Vegas, and Winnipeg, and Edmonton and L.A.
So the only two things for certain is Seattle's going to be the number one wild card. The Kraken.
Yes, they have a 9-point lead on the Jets.
Right.
Yeah.
So we know, but we just don't know who they're playing yet.
Correct.
Okay.
So because the number one seed is still in play as the number two. So if Colorado and Seattle play, I think that'll be a decent series. Seattle's been pretty strong. I think all these Western series are going to be tough if they match up now.
Well, there's
Dallas, and Minnesota, and
7 teams. I looked at 7 teams in the West have over 100 points.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's the one division, all the top 3 teams have 100.
Yeah, they do. So I think it's going to be a great playoff series. I'm looking forward to it, and it might even be less stressful. Well, it will be not even having.
I'll enjoy it. Yeah, to be just innocent bystanders. Basically, we can just enjoy it. And
when you're putting a few dollars down, though,
I'm hoping that the Kings get to play Edmonton. Everybody's saying the Kings are done, so I'm expected them to shock everybody and beat Edmonton.
We might have to have a little side bet if they match up.
Yeah, well, this Skinner guy with a terrible mustache, it's easy for him to win games that don't matter that much. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they want to. Maybe they are, but I know that Edmonton hasn't surrendered more than 2 goals in a game in a couple of weeks. So they are playing a little bit better defensively, but we'll see. We'll see when the chips are down and the push to the center of the table. We'll see what happens. I think Boston would not want to play the Islanders. If I was going to have to pick a team to have a chance to maybe be a pain in their ass a little bit, the Islanders would be one of those teams.
Right.
I think they'd kill the Penguins or Florida, but I don't think they're going to lose. And then.
You know what's funny about when we talk about experts, like in whatever sport it is, this commentator, this guy.
Yeah.
Now that if I don't know if you got to see it, was it it was this past Saturday, I think, when the Penguins were playing, was it Detroit? Remember they had those, and that guy was on there talking about, well, if the Pens get matched up with Boston, that's probably one team Boston doesn't want to face in the first. I'm like,
it's just
what?
Dumb.
I mean, and we couldn't even beat the goddamn Blackhawks.
I know all these people.
I mean, they have to talk just to say something. I know that.
But we say all the time, and it pisses me off. Not every coach is good. Not every team is good. Quit saying it. You're a terrible analyst if you can't be critical. You don't have to say you hate the team. You don't have to say you hate any guys. But they're not good. No. We're Penguin fans. We watch most of the games. I can tell you. You pay attention and you realize they're not going anywhere. Right. They can't. They don't have the parts that are necessary to be able to do it. They basically have 4 guys carrying the weight of the team. Right. Maybe 5 at the most. Goaltending's terrible. I mean, they're just not going to be able. Boston will just destroy them. The Islanders have a good goalie and they are tough. The Penguins are not tough, and they don't have a good goalie. So they're there. That eliminates them. And Boston is more talented than all these other teams. So you got to at least be able to stand up to them in a couple regards, and that's why I think the Islanders are the only team. That Sorokin could get hot for a couple games, and maybe they
are a big, strong team.
Right, and they're not going to – that Clutterbuck line and Matt Martin, those guys are idiots. Casey Cizikas, they're not going to get intimidated. I mean, they'll paralyze Bergeron. They don't care. So, they're going to be matched up against them. I'm not saying the Islanders can beat them. I don't think they have enough firepower to be able to.
Yeah, they struggle to score
unless
goals.
That Omar guy fucking pisses himself, which we don't know how he'll act. He's never played in a big game. He's not
playoff tested, right?
Ever. Not even a half big game. They've had this thing clinched for months, and I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to tell anybody to bet the Islanders, but don't be surprised if the Islanders, if they're able to get in there and get the 8 spot, don't be surprised if they're not a little bit pesky against the Bruins.
Yeah, they can win a couple games, maybe 1 or 2.
I agree.
Sure.
I think if they played Pittsburgh, Boston, that is, if Boston played Pittsburgh or Florida, I think it's a 5 at the absolute most. I really don't think it would be going past.
And I don't know what a team's mindset is, but we've seen over the years how many times where the President's Trophy winners, and that's the regular
I think they
season.
said 14 was the last time, Chicago.
That won it. Yeah. I don't know if these guys feel pressure, but with the spotlight on Boston, I mean, they've had was it the best regular season ever?
Yeah.
And then they just say they go down to they lose the game one. I mean, you never know.
It happened just a few years ago. Tampa, not quite as good of a season, but pretty damn close.
When they got swept,
they got lost to Columbus. And Columbus had a lot of characteristics that the Islanders have.
Mm-hmm.
They got hot goaltending. They're tough, and they're not going to get pushed around. And I don't know about the coaching situation for the Islanders now, but at one point they were well coached. I think they still are. So I don't know. Keep an eye on that one. The Rangers. I want to get your opinion. I mean, 99%. Well, actually, I shouldn't even say that.
But the Rangers.
Yeah, because Carolina's just leaking water right now, leaking oil, water, everything.
Yes,
they could lose the night, and Jersey could catch them. So, but if the Islanders and Rangers face off against each other, what are your thoughts on that?
What, Islanders and Rangers?
First round.
I'd root for the Islanders, no doubt.
I'm sorry. No, I said Islanders. Devils. Duh.
Well, Devils too. I think
Rangers,
I think the Devils are they're young, they're fast, they're talented as hell.
I like the Devils. I think that everyone's saying they don't have the experience, but I think the Rangers they've shown signs of the pressure was getting to them when they got those guys at the trade deadline.
Yes,
and they're playing very tight. I thought Shesterkin has not been nearly as good as he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Devils have nothing to lose, and I think
they don't.
I think they'll beat them. And they're a year early.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I get it for experience. You got to be battle tested and all that. But you get some young, talented, fast guys in there that just don't give a shit. They're just going out there and play their game and.
No, they just got the young defenseman, the other Hughes kid, into the lineup who just got done playing college hockey. So they got some life in their legs, and I think the Rangers looked like they have too many guys who are scorers only, and their power play is like they don't know which five guys to put out there. They have two power plays that are talent-wise on paper would be guys that you'd be like, oh man,
or maybe they had just added talented players at the deadline, but maybe not guys that they really didn't need. They needed a certain type of player. Now, how is Patrick Kane played for them? Do you know?
Just so. I mean,
he's an older guy now.
Good, but I don't even think his age matters as much as just the meshing with the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's played with the same guys. Well, not all of them, but like he's reuniting with Panarin, and they thought they would like catch magic again, but so far they really haven't. And I don't know. Tarasenko hasn't done. I mean, these guys are still physically able to do it, but something's just amiss.
I bet it's a lot of times that people don't understand how much chemistry has to do with
absolutely. Well, there's a reason why the Penguins have won Stanley Cups with wingers like Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupas.
And even back in with Troy Loney, a great fourth liner, Bob Airey, those guys with grit, and they
superstars don't always work
together. No,
but
never done.
I don't know. So I'll be probably back in the Devils, but we'll give you our picks next week when we have all this stuff figured out. Regular season concludes this week. Still a lot to be decided. All right, so let's jump over to the NBA.
All right.
Before we get into the other parts of the show. And don't forget, Sam will be with us again. We're going to talk baseball, IndyCar, and NASCAR with him in the last segment of the show. And then we got XFL, USFL kicks off this week. Don't know much about it yet, but we'll briefly touch on it, and then we'll talk about the RBC Heritage. That's in segment number 2. But in segment number 1, basketball still going here. NBA starting. The play-in round started last night. Lakers come from behind to beat the T-Wolves, and Chelsea just gave up another goal, 2-0 Madrid. So that'll pretty much put a fork in them. No Champions League football next year for the Blues. Yes, Lakers come back. Your boy LeBron somehow gets it done. Just a choke job by Karl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves.
Yeah. Well, I read an article today. I didn't see the game. I think when the last score I saw, the Lakers were down. I think double.
They were down
digits.
15 at one point in the third quarter.
And so then I saw they won 108-102. I think it was one in overtime.
Yeah.
But I read an article today. You may have seen it. I doubt you stayed up and watched that game.
Absolutely
obviously.
not.
But this guy wrote an article about. And the headline something to do with losing his faith in basketball. And before I even read it, I thought he was going to bitch about refereeing or something. But what he basically said, he described how bad that game was played. He was talking about the mistakes physical mistakes, mental mistakes. One team comes down and does something stupid. Down at the other end, the team does something more stupid. He said it was unbelievable. There's our word.
Yeah.
Just how bad that game was played, and said it was just absolutely awful. He said even reaction on Twitter was like, don't ever show this to a young group of kids that want to be basketball players. I mean, it must have been awful.
Well,
it was awful.
It's interesting you say that because I broke down yesterday and turned on the early game for the first time that I've turned an NBA game on the entire year. I don't even think I watched any of it on Christmas because there was NFL. I turned the game on. The Heat and Hawks. Because I bet the Heat, which is just, if I had ever watched them, I probably would not have bet them. So I bet the Heat.
Given what?
5.
Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if they were plus 5. They were so bad. But anyway, I turned the game on, and I'm not making this up. First 2 possessions that I saw, the Heat come down. They actually moved the ball pretty nicely. The guy was going to shoot a 3, but a guy came out, closed out hard on him, and he made an extra pass. Got a dude a wide open 3. It was this guy named let me get his name here. This guy's
I know this isn't going to work.
Gabe Vincent, number 2.
Okay.
Wide open in the corner. I'm talking the Hawks were guarding, 2 guys were guarding one guy on like the other wing, and he threw it down into the right corner. If you're looking at the basket, it'd be like at the bottom of your screen going this way.
Right.
He hit the side of the backboard. So then the Hawks
wide open.
Yeah, I'm talking. I mean, literally, an NBA player. Honestly, I've seen tons of great college players. And they would have made that shot. Almost all of them would have. So if you're out there, you should be able to at least hit the rim. So he hits the backboard. So then the Hawks inbound. They throw a baseball pass down the floor for some reason. I don't know if they were trying to catch the Heat asleep. Throw it out of bounds. Then the next possession, the Heat come down the floors, almost an identical kind of play. They're moving the ball around the perimeter. Hero has a 3. A guy closes out hard. 2 guys, one from each side, close out on him. He makes a pass to his right. Kyle Lowry shoots a 3 on the wing. He airballs it. And then I turned it off. Yeah, and as the 2 shots that I watched.
So you saw 2 possessions by the Heat. One hits the side of the backboard.
Yeah,
the other one is an air ball, and you saw the
ball out of bounds. Yeah, I never saw a ball hit a rim in the 2 minutes I had it on. And these guys are supposed to be the best athletes in the world. If I got to hear people say that, I mean, whatever. If that means they can jump high, okay. But I'll take track and field guys over them.
Well, they sure seem like the most fragile guys.
And they don't have much brain power. And even when they make a play, they can't execute it. It's just. The Heat were an embarrassment last night. Yeah. Reading through their stats, I mean, I just can't believe a team could be this bad.
And they were home, right? It was at Miami.
Yeah, Clint Capella, 21 rebounds for the Hawks.
Yeah,
I mean, good. I mean, whatever.
Good for him.
But anyway, this NBA is painful, and like that guy said in the article, just horribly played.
Said it was
it's like they're unprepared. And I know Spoelstra's a good coach, and I know that there's guys that are good coaches. I just don't think these guys give a fuck or respect them.
Yeah, that could be because I mean, and they even I heard them talking on the radio. They talk about the Miami culture and how it's been set with Pat Riley and Spoelstra is a highly regarded coach. I mean, he's awesome, but
if you can't like conform in under conditions where you're winning, I mean, how can you have a future? But I don't know. A lot of losers on the floor last night in those games. Karl Anthony Towns, big time loser. The Hawks. I don't care if the Hawks won or not. Trae Young's a total loser. He's just a gunner. And I do like guys like Capella. I mean, 21 rebounds is awesome. That guy wanted to win the game, so that's nice to see.
And we always say that, Matt.
He had 4 points, and he had 21 boards, and his team won. To me, that's like an MVP level performance.
In rebounding and defense, you don't have to be great talent offensively at all. But that is just effort and hard work.
Absolutely. No question about it.
And guys that do that, you're happy to see that.
Well, and guys who do it in big games, they care.
Yes.
It's like when we always talk about Wally having 20 rebounds in a championship game for West Liberty all them years ago.
Yeah.
Like that shows you a guy wants to win. There's no hiding that.
That
comes out.
Yeah, a lot different. He has 20 rebounds in a November or a December game against Urbana, and then disappears in all the big games. Guys.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Lakers are now going to face the Grizzlies. A lot of bad blood here between these two teams. So maybe there'll be some brawls, some ejections. I'm sure these men will behave very well, like they always do. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to worry about any of that. I'm sure they, if he could find a number on technical fouls, probably over is going to look pretty strong.
What is it? And this is what I don't get. And I was just kind of previewing that matchup. And obviously the Lakers are much older. LeBron's almost 40 ADs. He's older, always banged up. But where does Memphis come across that they want to start talking shit?
I don't know. They're
young
sealing
and
their own death,
right?
And you know how bad I hate LeBron. Yes. I can't stand him. But I'm going to tell you what, they picked the fight with the wrong people. Because if Davis holds up here, you're not on LeBron level yet. I'm sorry, Memphis guys, you're not.
Right.
You need to shut up. You need to quit mouthing off to Shannon Sharp. I hope he shows up at one of the games too. I think that'll be awesome.
I mean, and again, I wouldn't, because when I hear that stuff, I mean, Memphis, these guys. I mean, obviously. John Morant is a hell of a basketball player.
I'm looking up center fielder.
I'm looking right at that TV screen with baseball.
Who was that hit that home run?
That was probably no. It might have been Dave King.
Dave King
when he hit 4 home runs. He hit that one out on the Waveland Avenue. But these guys, I just don't like how that all started. I don't know, but how do they think that's going to just like I don't know, maybe. Street cred, I don't know, just to talk shit. Just shut up, go play basketball, mind your own business, be a professional. I mean, why get LeBron stirred
up? It's just like we talked about on the podcast, so be sure to check it out at the Pine Room Podcast, Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, all those places you can watch and listen. But we talked about last night about respect for animals. Don't be poking lions in the mouth and expect them not to bite you, and bears and all these things that these moronic people do. Well, don't be doing that to LeBron. So, like him or not, which I do not, the guy's good. Mm-hmm. He still can get, he still gets it done to an extent, like to this level. I don't think he's going to win anything this year, but I think he could beat Memphis
for sure.
You don't want to make a guy like that mad because he already gets about every call. He bitches and moans and whines and cries, but he somehow people say he deserves it, so maybe he does. But you shouldn't be poking guys like that. It's a bad mistake, and I don't think it's going to turn out well for Memphis. Lakers plus 105 to win the series. Memphis minus 125. I would have absolutely zero faith in betting Memphis. Now, I hope Memphis wins. I hope they do, but I can't bet them in good conscience and expect them to win.
Well, and with the Lakers, LeBron's been around forever. I don't know how many finals. So he's got, 4 titles. AD's a great player. I find it hard to bet against the Lakers on this. I'm not rooting for them, but I just think that with their experience but all it takes is somebody hits AD a little bit hard, he falls down, he's done for. He's so fragile, he's brittle.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for Memphis, but I don't like the way they behave. And they haven't done anything to earn the swagger that they're carrying around.
No.
So the other Western Series that is set up right now, Golden State and Sacramento. Golden State favored in that series. I think Sacramento's getting overlooked here. Like the Kings as a dog in the series. I'll be probably making a bet on them. I think Golden State's. I don't know. I know they got the experience, but the Kings are good, and I'll be taking a shot with Sacramento in that series.
Sacramento, what are they plus 230?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I was looking at that. You got kind of the battle of the backcourts with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and. That what's he got? Kevin Herter and De'Aaron Fox, but I don't know. I was looking at it today, and I thought, well, you know what George Champ always says about in order to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, and they do. I think that'll be a good series.
But the Kings are up and coming, and they seem like a really fun team to watch. So
and the Warriors have been terrible on the road. Draymond.
Yes, they're the worst. One of the worst. Yeah, don't they have the worst record in basketball on the road?
That Kellenic guy's home run, I just got a thing on it. 482 feet. Brad's boy.
Yeah, that was in like the second level of the
one.
Yeah, that was a nice.
So yeah, I'll be going with the Kings there. The other
now, Golden State won the season series 3-1.
Yeah,
I mean
Phoenix minus 550 against the Clippers. Clippers just I don't know. They're just to me they just seem old and stale.
Well, and are they going to have Paul George?
It doesn't matter. I guess they say he's good, but it seems like a very boring and average player to me. Phoenix probably just a little too good for them.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd be a little worried if I was a Nugget fan, though. They've not played very well down the stretch, and I really think Jokic is really, really, really good. I think the rest of their roster is just not very good. But they will play the winner of either the New Orleans OKC game tonight or the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know. I'm pulling for OKC in that game. I'm hopeful they can win tonight and have themselves a shot of beating Minnesota and getting into the playoff. I have a bet on them to make the playoffs, the top 8 in the West. So hopeful that will come to life here as they take on the Pelicans. And then the other game tonight is Brad's Bulls, B-Max Bulls against the Toronto Raptors. Any thoughts on either one of those playing games tonight?
Well, I like Toronto against Chicago. Toronto won the series, the season series 2-1, and I think Toronto won both games at home. But they were talking about the Toronto's defense and how they guard DeRozan, and they said in the 3 games that they just hounded the shit out of him. They said game 1, DeRozan had 9 shots. He only took 9 shots, had 5 turnovers. Second game, he had 9 points, and in the third game, he had 13 points. This is DeRozan I'm talking about, on 11 shots. So they know how to defend him.
Well, they have long, good defenders.
Yes, they do. They definitely
got
do.
some physical matchups for sure.
And they also said in a matchup in November, they had 11 steals, 10 blocks. February, they forced 20 turnovers and had a 19-6 advantage on the offensive glass.
Maybe an underplay too.
Yes. So I think Toronto will win that game.
So you're going with the Raptors in the East. What about the Thunder and Pelicans?
I pick New Orleans. New Orleans took the season series 3-1. Although that what is it, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Now he came
the best player on the court. For
sure. And I think when they traded him for Paul George, or that was part
a bunch of stuff.
But they probably thought, well, okay, they're getting a good player, but this guy's like a superstar.
He's really good.
Fourth in the league in scoring.
He can do it all. He's very good.
Yeah. So, and then with New Orleans, they were talking about the Brandon Ingram versus the Lou Dort matchup as far as Dort's going to guard him. And they said Ingram played 1 game in that series. He was hurt.
But the guy the Lakers gave away.
Yeah. They said he had 34 points. Ingram did. But just from what I read, they're saying that it seemed like the Pelicans are more suited to stop Gilgeous-Alexander with Herbert Jones, whoever that is, than OKC can to stop Ingram. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if OKC won, but I guess I'm going to take New Orleans. So that'll be both home teams that I would pick in tonight's game.
Yeah, and keep an eye out if we get to the weekend, you'll be seeing this show or listening to on Friday. I think I heard on the radio today that 9 of the last 10 of these playing games have stayed under. So both games under last night. 1 game went to OT and still stayed under. So teams are at least trying to play a little bit more safe with the ball. I'm not seeing it much, but I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get a little better shots and just being a little more focused, which it's hard to say that after last night's performances. But maybe a look towards the under, and then as we transition into these series, just touching on the East ones right now. Philadelphia minus 900 against Brooklyn plus $6. And it wouldn't surprise me if Brooklyn won that series, to be quite honest. I think Philadelphia is so overrated. I think their players and their coach suck. So won't surprise me. Knicks and Cavs going to be a great series.
I think that's going to be a great series.
I mean,
Knicks won three games to 1
have not been probably the best matchup for the Cavs. So Knicks may be worth a look. You never know. Celtics a huge favorite against I said the Falcons.
The Falcons might have a better chance of beating them than the Hawks.
The shitty Hawks.
Yeah.
And then Milwaukee will play either Chicago, Toronto, or Miami.
And I don't
see anyone beating Milwaukee in
No.
the East. I think they at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals relatively easily. Boston Boy, Missoula, he was the golden boy of the NBA the first half of the year. Now everybody's calling for his head. Poor guy. See how quick these people turn. And I have no faith in Doc Rivers or Joel Embiid. Embiid will have a hangnail.
No, and Matt, that too. Doc Rivers has had his fair share of playoff meltdowns and choke job. I think he won with the Celtics in 2008.
Yeah.
And that's all.
How could he not have?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, he's blown more 3-1 leads than any coach in NBA history. But before we go, get ready to head to break. Just a couple of things. When you're betting these NBA and NHL playoffs, if you like a team, if you like Philadelphia, you like Phoenix, for instance, in the NBA playoffs, they're laying $9, laying $5.50. You don't want to lay that. Try maybe trying the exact score, perhaps, or game handicaps. You can say, okay, I like the Sixers. I don't want to lay $9, but you can play the game totals under. You could say, okay, this series will be under 6.5 games. This series will be under 5.5 games. You're getting far better price. Obviously, you're thinking the Sixers would be the team that would win the series 4-1, 4-2. So you're getting a lot better price than you're going to have with minus $9. And you can also do exact outcomes. Sixers in 5, Sixers in 6. I suggest you do those. Don't lay $9. As you saw last night with the Penguins, none of this stuff is certain. Don't waste your time. You can parlay things, but you can parlay these things at much better prices. Don't lay $9. Don't lay $5. Don't lay $10 with the Celtics. Play these series games under the total if you think it's going to be a rollover, or play exact if you really feel strong, like, okay, the one team will win one game at home. Play it in 5, play it in 6, however you want to do it. You're
so much better value.
It's a smarter bet. Yeah, so do that. You can do the exact same thing in the NHL. We don't know all the pricing yet. Obviously, you're not going to want to. If you can do that in Toronto, Tampa, you'll be walking away with a nice chunk of change, because that series you would expect to go at least 6. So we'll talk about the NHL ones.
Well, Matt, you know what else I like about that too is, so if you just say, okay, if you just say the series will go 6 games, so you know. Or if you take a certain team, the bet's not over after one game.
No.
And I like that.
No, it's not. And honestly, you could even say you thought that the Sixers would be the team that would win in 6, and it turns out to be the Nets in 6. Either way, you're good. So you could win both sides. So if the team, the favorite, falls behind and is struggling in the series or whatever, the bet's not done.
Yes.
Whereas if you're even doing a game handicap, Sixers minus 1.5 or Sixers minus $9, you get down 2 games or you drop 2 games, you could be in trouble. So take a look at those. A lot better way to bet it. There's so many different options out there. So take a look at those. All right, we're gonna take a break here on BLS. Come back, talk XFL, USFL, and some golf before we get to the last part of the show with Sammy, the race man, and talking racing and MLB with him. We'll be back on Bettor's Last Stand.
Reminder, Bettor's Last Stand is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. You're watching Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in BLS. Chris and Matt with you. Coach out announcing a baseball game and parts unknown. I don't know where the park game was. I think West Liberty probably, but Wheeling Park getting ready to maybe play a game on their new turf field. Looks pretty cool. So check that out. Maybe next weekend. They're hopeful. We got Mike Florio on our show, which by the time you listen to this would have been yesterday. So go back and check out the Watchdog, watchdognetwork.com, or our YouTube channel at the Pine Room Podcast to check out our interview with Mike Florio. We're going to have him on the radio on Thursday, talk about a ton of NFL stuff, and then talk about his new book that's coming out. Got a lot of cool ties to the Wheeling area, some organized crime and some mobster type stuff, as his dad was like a right-hand man for Paul Hankish. So I think it'll be a pretty cool thing. Looking forward to that. I got NFL draft coming up. We'll ask him about that as well. So please check it out and tell us what you think at the Pine Room Podcast on social. Contact at thepineroompodcast.com is our email, and thepineroomshop.com. If you want to get some gear, get in there, check it out. We appreciate all the support. All right, XFL briefly. Chris, you've been getting pretty good at the XFL. You've been 2-0 again last week. I feel pretty good with it too. I mean, I've done all right with it.
I've enjoyed it from what I've watched, and when you had mentioned earlier about the USFL starting, what do you know about the USFL as far as talent compared to the XFL? Is it going to be on par? I mean, is it?
I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I don't see how. I have no clue. I mean, the USFL had a season last year, and I'm going to watch it. I didn't think it was that terrible, but so far, I think the XFL has been better.
Yeah, I did too.
But I think it also helps that the rules are a little bit different, and there's better rules overall. So I think that helps. So I'm not.
Do you know sure. what is there any glaring differences in the USFL as far as rules?
Well, their rules are more like the NFL, from what I recall. But yeah, the XFL had far different rules than the NFL or USFL. Well, so I'm hoping that maybe the teams should challenge each other to a game if the winner of the XFL.
Well, just me personally, I've watched some XFL. I've followed a little bit and checked the standings, and we talk about it on these shows. But once the USFL starts, to me that's just too much football. I mean, we're going to have it fucking year round, so that's going to start this week. So basically mid-April, and how long is that going to go to? Well into the summer.
I want to say maybe that championship game may have been late May or early June. Maybe
the USFL.
I feel I don't know. What was it? July?
I don't know. I don't know. But
I feel like maybe it was.
But by then, training camp's starting for NFL. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Well, hey, you don't have to listen. You don't have to watch it. I guess.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true. But
you can just bet it or stay away from it. Yeah. Whatever you want to do. But you're all right.
I'm sticking to the XFL, and that Rock owns that, doesn't he?
Yes.
Dwayne Johnson?
Yes. Formerly Vince McMahon. He sold it to The Rock and his ex-wife. So, all right. Last week, Dogs 4-0 ATS, and the unders were 3-1. So, starting to show the importance of the games. We got 2 weeks left before the playoffs. So, some big showdowns this week. On Saturday, we got Vegas and Houston. Houston's not been playing well. They're laying 6.5 at home, total 43.5. I think Houston gets back on track here, so I'm going to take the Roughnecks. Vegas, they have not been very good in my opinion from what I've seen of them. So where are you going in that game? It's on Saturday at 12:30 on ABC.
Taking the home team.
Yep.
I'm going to be watching that at 12:30 on Saturday.
All right, we're both on Houston there. All right, Saturday evening, the Orlando Guardians and the San Antonio Brahmas. These two teams both struggling. Orlando 1-7. Although I will say, I've said it last week, and I said it to you in a text over the weekend. Orlando's gotten a little bit better. They're not terrible. They're in games. They beat DC 2 weeks ago. So they're
1-7, aren't they?
Yes,
that's their
only win against the best team. Yeah.
Wow.
So San Antonio hosts them. Not a fan of San Antonio. Don't think they're very good. I'm going to go over in this game, 40. I know both these offenses have not been very good, but Orlando, their quarterback play has improved a lot, and they I think will score at least probably 24 to 28 range in this game. So I'm going to take a shot with the total over. What are you thinking?
No, I'm going to take San Antonio given the 2 points, and I don't think it'll go over. I've seen Orlando enough.
You're not believing. That game against DC has
obviously I didn't see that game.
Yeah, right. I know. So, that was. Yeah, I was like, wow, they're all right.
So I'd say it'd be like something. Well, now you have so many odd scores. So I'll say like 25 to 11.
Literally any scores in play in the XFL. I went through the totals. Teams have finished with 14, 15, 16, 17, 11, 9, 6, 8.
You should get some boards on that.
Yeah, I know. It's really, honestly, it is.
Well, yeah, because
it's much, much better as far as boards go.
Because like if we would happen to go to the club on Sunday, 3:00 game, Seattle, St. Louis.
There you go. Maybe we'll try it out.
Yes.
All right, Sunday afternoon, noon kickoff, DC back home against Arlington. They host the Renegades, 8.5 the spread on that. DC the favorite. Total 41.5. I think the Defenders take care of business here. They're very good, and I think they'll take care of Arlington easily. What do you say?
Yeah, I do too. But I'm going to say under again.
Okay.
I know 41.5
total, but I would lean towards the under as well. All right, and then the final game. Sunday afternoon, Seattle at St. Louis. This game is huge. This is a playoff. The top two in each division get in the playoffs. So these teams are right by each other. 5-3 Seattle, 6-2 St. Louis. This matters a lot. The first meeting, Seattle won 20-18. So this has everything. Seattle, a 1-point road dog here. total 46.5. I'm leaning to the under here. I think it's a closely played game. Both these teams need it. What do you say?
Same way, Matt. And I definitely think it's going to be a close game. I'm taking St. Louis only because
you love that crowd.
I love that crowd. I mean, the very first time I saw them, they had 38,000. I'm sure. Well, actually, I just saw them recently. The place was packed, and it was so much different when I turned on. I'm not sure there was another game, and they just had like a handful of people. And I was kind of disappointed to see that, but I know St. Louis, that's a huge football city, but they get behind their Battlehawks. So.
Yeah, I wish they could be the number one seed and host games like in the playoffs because that would be really cool. But I guess, I don't think maybe if they won out. And who's the number one team in that division? I'm trying to think. I can't remember who's in which division. If it's Houston or it must be DC. Yeah, because I think they're playing for second place. I think DC's the top team there. So
you just have two divisions, right? So what do you probably have like? I don't know. What you probably have DC and Orlando. And who else? St. Louis?
Yeah, I know that Seattle and St. Louis. I think Seattle, St. Louis, D.C. I don't know what Seattle and D.C. would be. I think there's a north and a south. But
okay.
Honestly, I don't know. Forgive us, we don't know this well enough yet. But
we're getting there.
Anyway, we're our picks have been pretty solid, so we've done pretty well. We're well ahead in the XFL this year. Between you, Coach, and I, we've actually done respectably, better than respectably.
Probably better than if it was the NFL.
Fuck yeah, way. Well, you don't have as much referee influence.
Yes.
You just don't have as many terrible variables you got to overcome. With this, they just play the games. Their scoring's different. All the rules are better, so it's a better product. It really is. If they had the talent level of the NFL, it would be exceptional because it's already pretty good now.
Yes.
So, all right, let's jump tracks to the USFL. Don't know a ton about this. I tried to follow it last year. It wasn't terrible. XFL so far, I think, has been better. So we'll keep an eye on. I'm not going to be able to give you any picks here, but we're going to at least go through the games. The Philadelphia Stars at the Memphis Showboats on Saturday, 4:30 on Fox. Philadelphia, a 2.5-point road favorite, total 38.5. My only advice here is last year in the USFL, the first 3 or 4 weeks, I played every game under, and it was probably 80%. So I'll probably do that again, and just hope that the offenses take a while. If it's like the XFL, it will. Early on, Chris, you remember those totals were 32, 34, 36. Yeah. Now they're up into the 40s in the XFL, and the offenses are playing better. So teams are getting on the same page. There's some cohesion there. So I recommend the unders in these games is about all I can tell you. Jeez. So you got Memphis hosting Philly, and they're a 2.5-point home dog, and they're actually playing in their real cities this year. So remember last year they played every game in Birmingham. So they're not going to do that, so that's good. And then you got Birmingham in action on Saturday night against the New Jersey Generals, 7:30. That's on Fox as well. So these are on big network TV. So give them a watch. They're not going to be that bad.
Hey, Matt, how did they determine these lines when they don't have? I mean, obviously, I know it with the talent and who's playing in the key positions, but they don't have the benefit of a preseason, right? You don't know. I
mean, preseason. They do. These teams did play last year, so but I mean, a lot of the roster has turned over. But you have at least coaching tendencies that you can use, and you just kind of make your own power rating system and see how it shakes out. It'll be drastically different by like week 3 than it was in week 1,
exactly.
And you'll start to see it tighten up. So the time to get these, if you have opinions or have information that you think is good, you use it now because the bookmakers will catch up and the lines will be tighter as the season goes on. So Birmingham minus 5.5 against New Jersey, total 39.5. I'll be playing that game under anything like that high in the 30s. I'll be going under.
And I love it. It just reminds me of when the 80s
Trump.
Yeah, and when these are all original names of the teams, right?
Yeah. Well, so then, on Sunday you got Michigan, the Michigan Panthers, and the Houston Gamblers. So Houston's got
Kelly.
3 football teams. Houston Gamblers -1. Total 38.5 in this game. Again, just can only recommend the under. That game on NBC at noon on Sunday. And then the final game, the Maulers, the Pittsburgh Maulers.
They had a bad year last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they were but they'll be, this isn't a home game. They're at New Orleans this week. But the 6:30 kick, FS1, 3.5-point road dog. The Maulers are at the New Orleans Breakers, 37.5 the total. Maulers were not very good last year on offense, if I recall, and their uniforms were really ugly. So
yeah, they were bad. Now, Do you know if because the Steeler fans travel well to road cities? What about the Maulers fan? Do you know?
I don't know. They've never been able to travel anywhere but Birmingham. So I feel actually good for this league this year that they're actually going to play in these cities. So maybe to see if the teams. But I mean, this is a little bit tougher than what the XFL has done, because the XFL, you're having teams that don't have NFL for the most part. I mean, Seattle. But in D.C., but no one even likes the Redskins anymore, sadly.
Yeah.
Vegas now is a team, Houston. So 4 of the teams have NFL cities. But here you got New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Houston, Detroit, not Birmingham. And New Jersey has the Giants and the Jets, and Memphis doesn't. So I would expect Memphis to have a pretty good crowd.
Right.
And I would expect Birmingham to have a pretty good crowd if I was going to guess. And then the other teams I don't know. I'm really not certain about. I don't know. Maybe the Steeler Mauler people will come out. I don't know. We'll tread lightly and try to lock down and get some winners as we go along. All right. Our last part of segment 2 today is the RBC Heritage. So the Masters last week, Jon Rahm, just incredible 18-hole performance. Actually, the whole day. He played about 28 holes that day or whatever. But he was great pretty much from the beginning. Koepka just wore down, I guess. Just couldn't get any mojo going. Not that he played bad. Rahm was just sinking everything. So that one hurt us a lot. I had Koepka as one of my plays last week. Would have been a really nice winner for us. Would have been a huge day for me, for Coach, for everybody. But it didn't work out for us. Not a complete loss, though. We had some decent top 5, top 10 guys that stuck around. Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, Justin Rose, those guys all in contention. Coach had Jordan Spieth. So we weren't bad, but just again in golf, we talk about it every week. A lot of breaks can go against you, and a lot of breaks can go for you. And last week, they went against us. So, Chris, thoughts on the Masters before we talk a little RBC Heritage?
I was disappointed, Matt, and mostly just because the way the weather affected everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't able to watch. I watched some of the first round on Thursday, and then the bad weather rolled in on Friday
afternoon.
and then and Saturday they had, so it was just hectic, and then with our family gathering on Sunday. I mean, we didn't have time to watch that. But by then, Jon Rahm was just dominating.
Yeah,
I mean, there was really no drama. There was
not much.
And so that took away from it. That he was just running away with it. And it was great though. The live guys did. I'm not a live guy, but those guys did step up. I mean, where'd Phil finish? He was like
second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I knew he was in the top.
Great
5.
Performance by the live guys.
They did.
Koepka was great for most of the weekend. I mean, Sunday he was not, but he played still good. Mickelson outstanding on Sunday. Patrick Reed played well. A lot of guys gave a good showing for the live guys. I was happy to see it. I was hoping the live guy won so bad because I was so tired of hearing the guys on CBS and Golf Channel whine and cry about these guys, about how they did so wrong by going to this tour. And just shut up.
Well, man,
that bothers me. And CBS did a terrible job. They were very biased. I didn't like how they wouldn't interview the live guys. Well, Koepka, they did interview him when he was the first round leader, but I thought they did a bad job. I thought they kind of ostracized some of those guys and are not doing a very good job to unify. But
I don't. I see both sides of it, and I don't have anything against that live tour. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm not.
Right.
If there's something on there compelling to watch, if it's on, I'll watch it. But I did hear some of those golfers say, "Well, okay, so you work a regular job, and then someone's going to come to you and offer you maybe double, and say you can work less."
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys, these live guys, have already basically done everything on the PGA Tour,
exactly.
right? So I mean, there's nothing left to prove.
Some of them have,
right.
Top end guys.
But I can't fault them for that at all.
No, I think it's an unfair criticism. I do, and again, different types like a Koepka. Koepka only ever got up for the majors anyway. He didn't want to waste his time playing in all these crappy tournaments against bad fields. Mm-hmm. These live fields are better than the PGA fields. That's what frustrates me. The Masters field is what it needs to be like all the time.
Right, yeah.
Like this RBC Heritage field's not bad. There's some good, but not enough good guys are in this. And that pussy Rory McIlroy, who's a fade for me all the time. I loved it.
Yeah.
He was terrible. All he did was talk shit about Liv, and then loser goes out there and performs like that. So
didn't he make the cut,
Rory? No, he's a bum, and I'm tired of people betting him. And don't fall for it. Rory McIlroy is never worth a value to bet. He's overblown, and I don't understand what people are thinking having him. Hasn't won a major in almost 10 years. The guy is not good enough to win anymore. So anyway, that's enough of him. Yeah. He pulled out of this tournament. Of course, he was supposed to be there, but he couldn't show his face.
Was he butthurt?
Yeah, go back to Ireland.
Yeah, wait. And one other thing to mention about the Masters, tragedy was averted with those trees. I mean,
wish it was that fallen on Nance.
3 of them. Did 3 or was there just one?
The only one that I saw was that real giant. I'm sure there probably was a couple other ones, but I mean, I don't think any of them is as big as that one just uprooted. I mean, that happens anywhere though.
Yeah, it should have went on where Jim Nance was.
I would have loved it. I can't stand him. He's so bad. He's so.
Well, listen, you got rid of him on the NCAA, so that just one sport at a time.
Yeah. He's just terrible. They just got to be able to find a better guy than that. I thought Trevor Immelman was pretty good, though. He was pretty fair. But there are a lot of those. And I really like Frank Nobilo. I think he's awesome. Dottie Pepper's good, and Nene Baker Finch pretty good, too. So, anyway, enough for the Masters. It was a close call for us. All right, this week, the RBC Heritage at Hilton Head. This is at the Harbor Town course. Pretty well-known course. Some of your big dogs in this. Rahm, 8-1. He's the favorite. Scotty Scheffler, 7-1. Actually, Scheffler and him are about co-favorites at most books. So those 2 big guns. Cantlay is in there. Jordan Spieth. So you got a good field. You definitely have a lot of guys here playing after the Masters, which is surprising. A lot of guys you would think would take off.
Matt, excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
How do these? Because I know you said Rory pulled out of this.
Yeah.
What is the process or the protocol? Do these guys have to announce when they're going to be in these tournaments? Do they do it before the season, or is it? Just
no. So what happens? Yeah, so they have agreements with their sponsors and the tournaments that they're going to play. So they have a schedule. They don't have to go to any of them except for the ones that they are sponsored by. Like, say, RBC is a sponsor for XYZ golfer. They're obviously going to be at the RBC Heritage.
Right.
So you're going to see guys who are sponsored if you see their logos on their shirts or their hats or whatever, and then their logo is something that's in the sponsor name of a tournament, expect them to be there. But the PGA makes them play in a certain quota of tournaments. So that's one of the things that Patrick Reed and Brooks Koepka hated about the PGA Tour. They didn't want to show up at all these, fucking hocus pocus Mickey Mouse events that are awful, and there's no good players, so they don't want to waste their time doing it. But the PGA said that you got to play this many, so they can pick where they are. In Rory's case, he'll just, I'm sure he far exceeds the quota that he needs to meet as far as showing up in appearances. So yeah, he probably just pulled out because he was embarrassed from last week. But yeah, so guys technically declare they're going to be in the tournament by Tuesday. So
but if you don't declare prior to the season, you could just say, golfer A decides, well, I didn't sign up for this Heritage, but I want to play.
Could. Okay, not all of them are like that though. Some of them are invite only. So if you didn't get invited, but the better players are going to have they're invited to everything. So
sure.
So your better guys could just say, yeah, you know what, I want to pick up an extra one and go to this. So usually by Tuesday they declare the field so they can get the tee times and the pairings, and then we can get the odds. You guys still can drop out on a Wednesday or something if they're not feeling good or their health or whatever.
But if a guy wanted to, he could play in every single tournament, right? I mean, there's not a cap.
There's no rule.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't mean to.
No. Yeah.
I just like to understand
good question.
This stuff.
Yep. All right. So a few guys that I'm interested in. Actually, I'll go through coaches first. Coach picks Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay, 14-1. That's coach's play to win. He was second here last year, so pretty strong play. Played really good on Sunday. Got a lot of criticism for how slow he played, and Koepka was pissed because he said it kind of threw him off his game. Yeah. Which, when you're in a rrhythm and you're playing well, you want to get out there and hit, and it was not fair for them guys to have to wait. The better players in the money groups, it was not great. But anyway, they didn't really have a choice because of the weather. He likes Ricky Fowler, Max Homa for top 10s. He's fading Jon Rahm and Justin Thomas, which I kind of agree with. Tom Hoagie, Sam Stevens are his long shot plays, so you can get a pretty decent price on there. I know Hoagie's about 80-1, so that's not bad. And then he has 2 matchups: Scheffler over Rahm and Tom Hoagie over Christian Bezuidenhout. So that's coach's plays. Guys that I like. I like Cameron Young here, 22-1. He's played really well last week. Justin Rose, I keep backing him. I think he's a great bet for a top 10 or to win. He's 60-1. And I like Max Homa a lot here. I think he bounces back. He didn't play really well at the Masters, but his game is still really good. Masters not maybe the perfect course for him, and he's not played it that many times, so he's not as familiar as a lot of these other guys. So I look for Homa to get back on track this week and play really well, like Shane Lowry as well. But again, Rahm, Spieth, Cantlay, Scheffler, those guys are going to be tough to beat. Russell Henley played pretty well last week, got the putter going. Webb Simpson won this a few years ago, was second or third, maybe last year or the year before that. His game's slowly coming back. He's 80-1, maybe worth a shot. J.J. Spawn's another guy that's played well here in the past, so those are kind of longer shot guys. Chris, anybody stick out in your mind?
Well, Coach is fading Justin Thomas, but I like him, and also not opposed to old Terrell Hatton.
Oh yeah,
35.
Okay,
35-1. And then on my you just kind of got me scared for my matchup because I got to go with Minwoo Lee to beat Webb Simpson. But now that Webb's on fire, but I'm still going to say with. They're both 80-1.
Yeah, so and again, Minwoo minus 115.
He's got to He's got to win me one time.
Minwoo could be. Webb Simpson. There's no guarantee. His game's just a slow process to start coming back. One matchup I liked, Justin Rose plus 115 against Matt Kuchar. I'm a big Matt Kuchar fan, but I like Justin Rose here. His game's been really good. Let's see. There's one other one that I liked. Oh, Billy Horschel against Christian Bezuidenhout. I like that one as well. So those are matchups I'll be playing.
And I know I faded this guy for the Masters, and I know he played well early in the tournament. How did Shane Lowry end up?
He's all right. He's in the top 25.
Okay. I saw his matchup with Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. No, and Fitzpatrick got it going a little bit too last week. So golf's starting to round into the good part of the season. PGA like 3 weeks away, so got another major coming up relatively quickly. So keep an eye on it. We'll give you the winners the best we can. We're due to get some breaks our way. We've been really close on a few of these the last couple of weeks, so stick with us. Hopefully it works out. Again, we were ahead on the week, plus 7.8 units, and we'll continue to try to build on that. Be sure and check our picks out on Instagram and Twitter at the Pioneer Podcast. I put them on real time. I'll put these golf picks up so you could have hopefully have seen them last night so you could play the futures. But again, live golf betting just as good. So if guys that we liked, if they maybe just played par golf on the first day, take a shot with them. You get a better price than what you even have here. So all right, we're going to take a break on Bettor's Last Stand. We're coming back for our final segment, and we will be with Mr. Sam Pavlik, Skyping in, giving us his race picks. He's red hot. He's had the winners the last 2 weeks, in IndyCar 2 weeks ago, and NASCAR on the dirt last week. He'll be trying to extend the streak. We got Indy at Long Beach. We got NASCAR coming back off the Bristol dirt and going to Martinsville this week. So exciting stuff. And then we're going to get his thoughts on the Major League Baseball season as well and his Buccos. We'll be back with Sam after this on Bettor's Last Stand.
Reminder, Bettor's Last Stand is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. You're watching Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back into Bettor's Last Stand. We got Sam with us now. We got all the kinks worked out, thanks in part to Jubb, actually all to Jubb. And oh man, look at that! Is that Mike Lang's shirt in the background of the? Yeah. Oh yes,
that's actually Bonnie's.
I love it. I had that shirt as well. That's a great shirt.
The gold shirt.
Yeah, it's all the Mike Lang sayings and stuff on it. Oh, wonderful shirt. Good stuff, Sam. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're all recovered from Easter. That was a fun day as always.
Day.
How's everything going this week in the work world?
Good, man. Work's good. It's hot as hell. You know, working in that machine shop when the weather gets nice, it gets a little toasty in there.
Yeah, definitely. It's like,
we've been saying that all week. It's gotten too hot too fast.
Oh yeah, man. Real quick.
Yeah, too hot, too fast. I know Jubb's pissed about it. I'm not really that happy. I can settle for 60s. I don't need 80.
Yeah, 60s and sun. My God.
All right, Sam. So before we get into racing, and you had another winner for us, which is awesome. just want to get your thoughts. We talked to you about MLB last week. Anything else that you've noticed since last Wednesday when we taped the show about MLB, your Pirates? Just any thoughts on MLB so far?
I'm loving the pace of the games.
Yes.
I was actually just watching something right before you guys called me about teams being pissed about beer sales being low.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And teams are extending.
Yes,
they're going from the 7th inning to the 8th inning. So beer
to make
sales
up for
are down.
it. Yeah,
but it's like I love it, man. I think it's great. I mean, Cruz, that was a tragedy.
What a way to start Easter. Yeah.
Look at that. O'Neill's dead.
Yeah.
He just laid there.
I think the Rays. I don't know how I feel about them because their schedules.
Right.
But I do think they're good. They are good.
Yeah, I mean they've beaten the Tigers, the Nationals, and the A's.
And now, now the Red Sox.
What is that?
Yeah. Now they get the Red Sox, I think, right?
No, they're in those 3 series they were plus 57 run differential, but
I mean you can only play who you're supposed to.
Exactly,
play, so, but they got to go to the Blue Jays next, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, although, what are you guys seeing for baseball?
I don't know. There's a few teams I'm concerned about. I got to say, Blue Jays are one of them. I'm worried about their pitching.
Oh my god!
I love their lineup. Obviously, their pitching is a concern to me. I'm concerned with the Mets lineup. In their closing situation as well. I think the Mets lineup is very weak once you get past the top 5 guys, probably. A little weak down low. I think they need to add a couple of pieces. They probably will add Ohtani at the deadline. That'll help the pitching and the lineup. Yeah. So, I mean, their Mets are going to spend for sure. So, I think they definitely need to add some pieces. I think the Padres need to add a pitcher at the deadline. I like their team overall, but their lineup will start or get going, but their pitching, they don't have an ace. Blake Snell's not an ace. Darvish really isn't an ace. So I'm concerned about those teams. As you said, the Rays, they'll be steady. The Orioles, I think, will be steady, although their pitching is young and inexperienced. Yankees will be solid. I'm a little worried about Chris's Guardians from a hitting standpoint.
Yeah.
They never have enough bat to get it done. Mm-hmm. What do you think of them, Sam?
I mean, I'm looking just at these standings right now. I don't think the Twins are for real. I think the Twins are not good.
I agree.
That is the one thing on my mind. The White Sox, I do not think they're good either.
No.
Sebi's Vala's a dead man. I mean, he can. That AL Central is very up for grabs because the Royals stink, Tigers stink, the White Sox, Guardians. Yeah. I think the Guardians ultimately win it.
I do too. I think they have the best manager and they have the best pitching once they stabilize, but they just need one more bat. They probably will make the playoffs. White Sox bullpen is so bad. I was high on them at the beginning of the season. Their lineup's still good, but they lost Timmy Anderson now. I don't know how long he's going to be out, so I'd be a little bit worried. I think the Rangers are better than I expected. I kind of knew they were going to be a little bit better, but they're actually even better than I thought they would be. And so far, the Angels are playing okay. But I expect them to slide. So I think the Astros, Mariners, and Rangers in that division are going to be the 3 teams in the mix. And as I mentioned, the Mets concern me. I think the Braves may run away with the NL East. I think the Phillies are struggling. I think the Marlins can't hit. And obviously the Nationals are horrendous.
Terrible.
Yeah. And then Milwaukee off to a good start, but I don't love their lineup. I was high on Milwaukee last year, and I kind of got off them this year. I think the Cubs are going to be solid, but they're going to be some games where the Cubs are going to look good and some games are going to suck. Cardinals will get it going. Pirates will hang around. Reds will hang around. What do you think about in the NL West? I'd say the Dodgers aren't as good as I expected.
The toughest out of any division.
Yeah. D-backs are good. Sure. Yep.
They are good, man. They're scrappy. Yep. They're like the NL version of the Rays. That's what they remind me of.
Yes, they are. Coach was very high on them. So, yeah, lots still to come in baseball, and we'll obviously talk tons more about that.
Hey, Sam, you know what else I really enjoy about the baseball season is the increase in the stolen base.
I love it.
They were saying, now this was based on the first week of the season, in 2022 and after the first week, teams were 61 of 89 for stolen bases. This year, 124 for 154. So they've doubled it. And the only thing that bothers me is they're doing it now because of the pitch clock, and the guys can't throw over as much, because I always liked the stolen base. I'm a purist, so back in the day, I mean, your dad would have said the same thing. We love that, but it's been exciting. It's added a lot of excitement, and I assume that Our total runs up somewhat. I haven't seen the stat on that. If you know,
yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
but it's an exciting aspect of the game, and I hope it continues.
Yeah,
you guys like the clock?
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I don't mind it at all.
The games are going quick, and that's what I like. So yeah, much better product for sure. How do you think the Pirates hold up without O'Neal Cruz? Do you think they take a dip?
I just think it's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah.
It's just hang on for as long as you can.
Right.
Like 70 wins was like my, this will be a good season if they can get 70, which is sad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking 60, 65, right back in that little window.
What?
How do you replace him?
Right. Now that's a big blow just for the entire momentum of the team. I feel like, and then
yes.
you need a good performance. They get the nice walk off last night, but then Rich Hill today, just a horrifying.
What did he pitch again today?
Yeah,
no.
7-zip. Yeah,
he pitched 7, which is shocking. Shocking.
Yeah. So
that's going to be tough to recover from Cruz. I mean, and I don't. Who did they bring? They bring up some guy named Matthias or whatever. I mean, what's he going to do?
Good. He's no Clint Barmas.
And I think their bullpen is pitched surprisingly well, but I just think they're like when you mentioned about the Guardians, they don't have enough hitting. I think Jack Sawinski's he's not a very good hitter at all. Castro maybe, but I like that. I like the Bay guy. I do like him.
The Korean guys will be good for them.
Yes,
I think both of those guys will be solid.
Yeah, and then
I like Santana too.
Yeah. He's good. He's a good veteran. Definitely going to produce for him. So,
but boy, and they lack it. They don't get much hitting from the catcher position. Jesus,
not many teams do, and they definitely don't.
No,
hell no. But
all right.
Mark Matthias is the name they brought up.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, and one other thing I just want to bitch about, and I don't care. I'll keep saying this unless you change my mind. Brian Hayes sucks.
I know.
He stinks as a hitter.
I've been saying it for about over a year. Why did they give him that contract?
And he didn't really prove much.
What did they base that off of?
They're just trying to fool their fans, probably.
Yeah.
Just make it look like they are trying.
I mean, if he got, what he get, $70 million?
Yeah,
if he gets 70, Brian Reynolds should get $500 million compared to him. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, if he could bat 270 and hit maybe 20 homers, but man, I don't think he's. Yeah.
It doesn't look good.
No.
But anyway, we'll talk plenty more about the Pirates in the coming weeks here on BLS. All right, so let's shift gears literally into the race scene. Sam, you had a good pick with Chris Bell last week, so another solid winner. You continue to give us winners here on the show, so we're pretty happy about that. So thoughts about Bristol Dirt Race? I know we talked at length prior and after. You gave us the stat last week about the percentage run under caution. We lowered it a little bit, so give everybody the rundown of what you thought about the race overall.
Yeah, Matt, like I texted you Monday, 29.2% of this year's race ran under caution.
Under 30.
So, under 30, looking good.
29.2 was...
Yeah, 29.2.
Under
so it's
caution.
about a 3, I think it's like a 3-lap difference, which that's great.
Now that's for that particular race, right?
Yeah.
Right,
okay. All right.
Yeah, just for that Bristol Dirt Race. I mean, 4 lead changes in total. I mean, terrible.
Yeah, for Bristol, that's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great track, and it's just not getting the representation. I mean, the lap leaders were, like I said, it was Bell, Larson, and Reddick.
Yep.
Reddick was good. Larson just, he had that little scuffle with Priest.
Right.
I can't stand the dirt. And again, it reminded me of the Clash.
Yeah, it's starting to, and I've heard a few people make comments about it who are maybe just kind of newer to NASCAR about, Bristol sucks. And they're like, no. Bristol Dirt sucks, not Bristol regular. Like they've got to get rid of that because now there's like a stigma out there that Bristol's not that fun of a track or not that good. Bristol is probably one of the best tracks, at least in the top 3.
Well, and you saw how many empty seats there were for that dirt race.
Yeah, now Easter may play a role. Right. It's not a great night for it. I don't know. I like what they tried to do, but I think they need to abandon that and go back to the regular concrete track.
And was that necessary to gain viewers and fans at the race? I don't think it was. I know they at NASCAR had fallen off as far as the fans and the popularity. But I don't think something like that.
They've made a lot of good moves as far as TV and stuff.
Yes,
they have. So maybe this works out for them on TV. Maybe it did a better number than I think. I don't know. We'll see. But I think they still need to continue to adjust, and I think they need to get that off of Easter and then get it back to the regular track.
And of course, not every decision that they're going to make is going to be the right one. But they have come up with a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, just like the Clash we talked about. It was great the first time. I enjoyed it. And then it's like, okay, I've seen that. Move on to something better. Sam, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll go back to Bristol. They've been racing at Bristol since 1961. And then all of a sudden in 2021, they're just like, oh, fuck, we're going to just start putting dirt down.
Right. Yeah, right.
Like, it's just stupid. They're not dirt cars.
No.
You're not getting a dirt racing product. It's just a NASCAR on dirt. It looks like shit.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Davenport, the guy that's the 3-time dirt winner, he said, this is just an entertainment.
Sure.
It's like a Hell in a Cell match.
It is. It's like pro wrestling. Exactly.
That's exactly what NASCAR is turning into, is pro wrestling.
Yeah. And again, if it's getting viewership up, then I understand why they're doing it. It's just alienating guys like us and frustrating us who actually like the racing. Yes. I know. So,
but I will say, as far as NASCAR, and we are purists, that I'd say Matt, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, where we didn't even talk about NASCAR. We wouldn't even, we used to get together and watch it, but now it's got our interest back. We like it, and it's always fun talking to you, Sam, because you're a diehard guy. So they've done a lot of good things, and
they have. They have done a lot of good, and they have the car that they have brought now has made it an equal balance. You're getting different winners. You're not getting domination, but like you say, it's not for dirt. So, again, they're doing a lot of good stuff, but they got to weed out a few of these mistakes. I get it. They tried it. Maybe it worked once. Maybe it worked twice. It's time to move on from the dirt. Bring it back in 10 years or something, maybe.
Or maybe never. But
maybe.
We get honestly, probably never. Like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Justin Haley, Todd Gilliland were all in the top 10.
Right.
That just, when I look at that, I think something's fucked
up. Good for Gilliland.
And you look, because we even said Gilliland could hang around. Like there's no reason why. So you got that. That's like the only time you see a lot of them guys up there is at a plate race where like 25 dudes a wreck, and then you got them up there.
That's what you look for. And who crashed? Who took out who?
Yeah, and you get Cody Ware.
Well, hey, what happened to Cody Ware? He got arrested.
Yeah, he's got some domestic violence issues.
He's
crippler crossface.
Yeah,
I got to talk to Pat McCormick about
his
that.
driver.
Yeah, Pat McCormick's driver has been arrested.
I hope he didn't put a future on.
We were going to put a sticker of his number on his car.
We were going to buy him. Right, we were going to. We went to his website.
Yeah.
What is his dad? It's some
Rick Ware.
Rick Ware Racing.
Yeah, because Pat drew him in the Daytona 500.
Oh, he was pissed because Pat.
He finished in the top 10 though in that race.
Oh yeah, Pat's always a conspiracy theorist. He thinks anytime he gets a bad driver, we do it to him on purpose.
We're out to get him. All right, well let's talk a little bit about this week's NASCAR at Martinsville, and then we'll talk some IndyCar. All right, Sam. So, who are some guys on the radar to watch for this week at the Paperclip, also known as Martinsville?
All right, the first name I'm going to throw out here is a William Byron, and I know that's not a name that's William Byron. He's won a bunch this year, strong car, but he has 4 top 10s in the last 4 races at Martinsville, and so does Joey Logano. So him and Logano have been top 10, I believe. Byron the last 4, Logano the last 3. Now, last year, Chastain was top 5 in both races, and so was Chase Briscoe. And last week was not a great showing for Chastain, but I definitely believe in the Trackhouse organization. They always seem to have a car up there running pretty strong.
Right.
So I think a name to look at would be like a Byron, Chastain, Logano. I mean, Bell won this race last year.
Yes. So I thought it was interesting when I was looking back through the numbers, and I had Chastain circled too as like he's kind of getting ignored. 16-1 for him on this race. I love that number. Obviously Logano 8-1, Bell 6.5, 7-1, Byron around 6 or 7-1. But I thought it was interesting that The last 7 races here, obviously these weren't all with this same car, but it shows you which constructors having an idea of what's going on here at Martinsville. The last 7 have either been won by JGR or Hendrick cars. So you got Truex winning 3 times. You had Bell win last year. You had Byron win last year. You had Bowman and Elliott. And obviously Elliott would be a guy we'd definitely be talking about here if he was racing. He's been exceptional here. Several top 5s in a row for Chase. So once he gets back in there, the next time we come to Martinsville, he'll definitely be discussed. But I'm with you. Chastain was a guy I really liked here. Truex about 9-1. I keep backing Martin Truex so many times. I'm just waiting for him to put it all together. I know he's got some issues, pit crew, all kinds of strange things going on with him. Thought Ryan Blaney was worth a look, and you can't ever discount Denny Hamlin, another local track. He's going to be dangerous here. And Denny's looking for a good run. He's actually had a couple of good cars and had some bad luck in late in races, so I think he's going to be a contender. And then I want to get your opinion on, do you think Josh Berry can put together a strong run in Chase Elliott's car, seeing that Hendrick has been really good? Any reason why he can't?
I do.
It's a tough track for a guy that's not experienced, but maybe.
I don't know. I think he can. I mean, it seems like Josh Berry's been racing in Xfinity for forever.
Right.
I don't know. I do think he could. I think it's tough. I just think Elliott's just obviously a way better driver.
Sure.
And like you brought up Elliott, he's top 10 3 of these last 4 races here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Berry could, but you brought it up a couple minutes ago. Denny Hamlin is a great one to look at. When I was looking at these numbers, when you look at the stages, laps led, and like the qualifying, Hamlin, the number 11 is always up there. And then when you look at the end of the race, he either finishes middle of the pack, or a crash, or some incident, or something. So his car has always been strong at Martinsville.
Yep.
He needs a win, man.
Yeah, he does.
He needs a win.
And the JGR cars run well there, as we said. What are your thoughts? Obviously, Logano, the Penske Fords are probably the only Fords that maybe could win. Keselowski was the last Ford that won in 2019. Any reason that Keselowski couldn't have a good run? He's starting to put it together a little bit compared to last year.
No, I actually got him on my underdogs here. I have him, Eric Jones, and Kevin Harvick also.
Yeah, and amazing. You got to put Harvick as like a longer shot play, but that is true here for this track. Definitely, kind of gets forgotten about here at the paperclip. Chris, what are your thoughts? Or do you have any questions for Sam as far as guys to look at, or any strategies?
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and this is for top 10 finishes. 2 guys that, for no apparent reason, Chris Buescher, and I'm rooting for the rookie Ty Gibbs. 60-1. Top 10. Top 10. I have
Buescher in my underdogs. Also, if a top 10, if you want to look at this, in 2022, in the first race, and in the second race of 2021, Eric Almirola.
Okay.
Top 10 in both of those races.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a number to maybe, throw a couple dollars on.
Yeah, Almirola has had he's got some. He has interesting tracks that he's really good at. Obviously, the super speedways, and then some of these short track ones. He was decent at. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember if it was Richmond, maybe that he ran pretty well. I think it was Richmond, but yeah. So Almirola, lots of wide open options here as far as prices go.
Hey Sam, this NASCAR thing I just said, it says Chase Elliott's to return this weekend.
I hope, man.
Just said it published an hour ago. Said he's gonna race.
So that changes things. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm anxious to see what they'll have his odds at. Josh Berry 20-1. Obviously, he's going to probably be half of that. Seeing he's going to be a little bit rusty, you're not going to be sure what you're going to get out of him in the car. But that's good. That's good for the sport. Get us another top contender in there to try to. And then the good thing about that, from a betting standpoint, is Chase Elliott's obviously one of the favorites almost every week. So gets the prices elevated on some of the other guys when you get him back in there. So good stuff. So this is a 3 p.m. Sunday green flag. All right, let's pick our winners now. If we got to go with one guy, Chris, who are you going with?
Where's he? The Chastain.
Okay, Ross Chastain for Chris. Sam, who are you going with?
William Byron.
Okay, William Byron is your pick, and my pick will be Martin Truex. Again, one of these weeks I might get it. Jeez, the guy's killing me. But anyway, I think it's going to be a good race. Looking forward to it. Get back to a non-dirt surface. Should be quite enjoyable. All right, so let's move over from stock cars to open wheel. We didn't have any open wheel last week, but this week we have a showdown in Long Beach here for the IndyCar guys. Now, I thought that it was interesting. Our viewers and listeners know that you gave us a nice winner a couple of weeks ago with Newgarden. And
you're good, buddy.
There's no reason why Newgarden isn't going to be. Now they don't have. I could not find any of the odds. See, the thing about Indy cars, they wait for practice. They're very keen on waiting for practice and qualifying before they posted a lot of books. So I'm assuming that Newgarden is going to be one of the favorites for this race. He's ran really well here in the past. And for those of you not familiar, Long Beach is a street circuit, 1.67 miles, I think, or 1.9. I can't remember. 85. Yeah, okay, there we go. 85 lap race at 1.968 miles. So pretty cool track. I was looking at it the other day. The winner last year, Newgarden, won it last year. So why not this year? All right, so who are you? Who are some guys that maybe you're looking at, and any dark horses, or is this going to be a typical Roger Penske, Chip Ganassi domination?
It might be a typical domination, but some things you can look at. The past winners of this race are Newgarden, Herta, Rossi, and Rossi.
Right. I had Alexander Rossi. Yep.
Alexander Rossi is somebody that I can't quit going back to that name. He's on the new team.
Yep. He's now with Andretti, right? Andretti? Yeah. Is it okay?
I thought it was Aaron McLaren.
Oh, maybe not. No, maybe he left Andretti. He may have been. Oh, yeah, he was Andretti last year. He is McLaren. Yep, because I was looking at the printout from last year's race results. Yeah. Yes, McLaren. So hopefully McLaren can do better than Formula One here. But I had Rossi, Palo, and Newgarden were the three guys that I came up with as my picks. But go ahead and continue on.
No, I had Newgarden as well, Rossi, and then I also had a Pato Award because he's been second in both of the races this year, and I just think that I think he's a great driver.
He is.
But also IndyCar is just up in the air. They haven't given me enough material to really feel certain about guys.
Sure.
But I think that Award, Rossi, Newgarden, the Award and Rossi in particular with Aaron McLaren, I just think they're going to be strong.
What are your thoughts on two of these veterans, Will Power, Scott Dixon? Who you like better this week?
Dixon.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah.
And I know Will Power finished, fourth in the race last year.
Right.
Dixon was, I think, sixth.
Yeah. So. And Dixon seemingly had a pretty good car. I saw Palo led 22 laps, Newgarden led 32, Will Power led a couple. And then Colton Herta, as you mentioned, he had some trouble, but he led 28 laps. So
yeah.
Again, this is probably, and you've mentioned this many times for people that don't follow this. This may be your most balanced racing as far as with the cars, with the drivers, as you mentioned many times about the actual driver crop maybe being as top as any level of racing right now. You're getting exciting racing so far in the IndyCar. I've been pleased with what I've seen just through a couple of races, and I'm looking forward to the Indy 500, obviously, and I'm anxious to see how this street race comes across on Sunday.
I have one more name.
Yes.
David Malukas.
Oh, my. There's a long shot.
P10, or he's been top 10 in both the races this year as well. I know it's like...
That's great.
It's the odds of it happening are slim. But,
hey.
I love to just point out, hey, he's had two good runs this year.
No, that's what we're looking for value, definitely.
Yeah.
Anybody else stick out? Is you're down on, or I guess, how about your boy Scott McLaughlin?
I was just going to mention him.
Man, I just am not feeling too hot about him this year. I think he's a great driver. I think the talent's there. I really do think IndyCar is that good.
Yeah, he's kind of taking a little bit of a step back or getting a little overshadowed so far, but it's early yet, and he can probably turn it around, I'm sure. And once he gets on some of these ovals, he may be dangerous, but we'll see. All right, Chris, any questions for Sam as far as the IndyCar?
No, I was going to mention Scott McLaughlin for a top 10 or a sleeper, but then you threw a lot of shade on him. But for the snap-on number 3,
maybe look at an Elio. Maybe look at an Elio number.
Yeah,
if that's good.
Yeah, he's
like
ran
Matt,
well.
You mentioned it. IndyCar's not great at putting these numbers up.
No, they're not. They're late to the party. But again, a lot of it has to do with just the following of the circuit. And the bookmakers aren't as in tune with this as NASCAR and F1. So they got to be super certain that they have the right stuff up. So it's kind of a waiting game as they all seem to hold off and poach the number off of the first guy that has enough balls to put it up. So,
well, Sam, I got an important question. What time's the race start? It's Sunday, right?
Let me see. Which race?
The Indy race. Is it a 1 noon maybe? No, it's Long Beach, so it'll be afternoon. 2.
It's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Okay, so it'll be going on at the same time as NASCAR. So you got that on NBC and the NASCAR on Fox. So okay, 2 good races then, and then
does F1 have they offer?
No, we're off till the end of the month. Azerbaijan, baby. That's
spreading world peace.
Yeah, right. Right. It's like the most beautiful area of the world. Azerbaijani Grand Prix. So, all right, Sam. Well, any parting thoughts or last words regarding any sport? What are you thinking on these NBA playing games from either last night or tonight?
All right.
Yeah, I want to see what he says compared to what we said.
I do these fucking note cards for these shows, right?
Right.
And I just do everything I need to talk about, right? And so I picked a random date. And I went with March 18th. So for these basketball games, OKC versus New Orleans. Since March 18th, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 6-6 to end the season. The New Orleans Pelicans are 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that might not seem like that's a big deal because I just view it like, hey, these teams had 2 weeks to gear up and figure out, hey, if we're going to get in the playoffs or not, we're going to have to figure it out.
Right.
And I think that OKC is better than the Pelicans. But it concerns me that New Orleans was way better than a team that's way younger and way better.
So you're picking the Pelicans. You and Chris are on the Pelicans, then.
No.
Oh.
I have OKC winner here. I'm just very concerned with my pick.
I got you. I have them as well. I had bet them a while ago and gave it on the show to make the playoff, like the actual 18 playoff. So I'm hopeful they can win tonight.
Hey, well, what do you guys think of the latest with Zion coming out and talking about he pretty much can do everything?
Just a waste.
I mean, what's that guy's problem? I mean, he's healthy, isn't he?
I don't know. Something's up with him.
Honestly, I have no idea. He's like Ben Simmons 2.0.
Exactly. It's a shame.
It is.
This happens too much in the NBA.
No.
What did you think of the Laker game last night or the Heat? They were an embarrassment.
Yeah, I don't like the Heat.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Heat guy.
Sam, they said that Laker game was awful. Just the way it was played. They said it was just atrocious basketball.
I'm sure it was. There's not too much good basketball.
No,
there's not. I told Chris I turned on the Heat game for like a minute and a half. I saw a ball hit the backboard, like the side of the backboard from the corner, and go out of bounds. I saw the other team, the Hawks, throw a ball while baseball pass, throw it out of bounds, and then I saw Kyle Lowry airball a 3, and then I turned it off. It's like a minute and a half of action.
That's a good call.
I've had enough.
What do you think for tonight, the Chicago-Toronto?
Chris likes the Raptors. He thinks they'll be tough they'll shut DeRozan down.
They've shut him down all 3 games.
I like the game under a little, that game, but I don't know. Something just says maybe the Bulls get it done, but I
took Chicago winner. I think Chicago's actually a way bigger team. Literally, they're just fucking taller.
Yeah, and I do. I mean, I like Toronto's as far as their athleticism goes, but their scoring's always an issue. So I like both of those games under. I was telling Chris I heard like 9 of the last 10 of these playing games have stayed under. So I thought maybe that was something to lean on. What as far as looking ahead a little bit to some of these series, who are you taking in Lakers and Grizzlies?
The Grizzlies.
Yeah, you think they can get it done,
Lakers
even though they pissed LeBron off?
Yeah, I just don't think the Lakers have enough.
Yeah, they may not.
The guys that they signed, I don't think it's enough. It reminds me of they signed, Tristan Thompson. They should have just signed fucking DeMarcus Cousins if you want to sign him. It's like
yeah. And can Anthony Davis actually hold up for a whole series without getting hurt?
I don't know, man. I was thinking about him and Kevin Love and DeMarcus Cousins. When those big men are on,
yeah,
awesome.
Karl Anthony Towns, from what I heard, was the best player on the court last night until he got in foul trouble and fell apart. Like usual.
Dude, when they traded for Rudy Gobert,
yeah,
I could not believe it. Rudy Gobert stinks.
He's
dude.
terrible. They say that may be the worst trade in NBA history. I know that it's hard to believe because there's so many bad ones, but their people were saying worst contract.
He's known for one thing, and that's fucking touching that microphone and spreading COVID.
Exactly.
That's it.
He should be banned from the league just for that.
He should. He should.
Yeah.
Jesus. Go Bucks.
Yeah, really. Thank God it's baseball season. That's all I can say. We only got to suffer through this stuff a little bit longer. All right, Sam. Well, thanks for joining us. Anything else that we missed? Anything you want to add before we go?
I don't think so. I looked at some baseball numbers, but I didn't like anything I saw. So
okay. Well, you can always get it to us. You can follow all of Sam's picks on our social media at the Pine Room Podcast and at the Bettor's Last Stand Twitter. Have all that stuff up there. Chris, any parting words?
No. It's been a great show. I enjoyed. If I'm going to be on, I got to study. So I'm learning and each week and some of the lingo and all the stuff Matt throws out because he's like an expert at all this stuff. And I tell you what, Sam, you're if NASCAR's looking for like a commentator, a guy that like just a sideline guy, someone they need to go to on location at the pits.
You can do. You're the guy. You can replace Michael Waltrip on the grid walk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd kill it.
You'd be better than him no matter what. Your first day, no experience of any kind. Yeah. Michael struggles with that, but yeah. All right. Well,
you're good. You're good.
Oh yeah. Well. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
Racing
good to
analyst
see you
Sam Pavlik. He does it all, though. He analyzes NBA, baseball, everything. So we thank him for joining us. We had a nice show here today. Thanks to Chris. We got a lot covered. Again, check us out, social media. Look at all the picks. I'll have some AFL picks on there as well. Geelong finally got into the winners column last week. St. Kilda's 4-0. So there's actually all the games this week played in Adelaide. They're doing a footy festival up there. So some home games that look like home games aren't really home games. So I'll have all those stuff posted on the Twitter. If you're into the AFL, keep following it. And then next week, going to probably talk a little bit of Kentucky Derby. Some of my early thoughts on that. I really like a few of these Japanese horses. So we'll start to shift gears towards the Triple Crown Trail next week on Bettor's Last Stand. But we got tons of playoff action going. NBA going in full swing, and we got NHL starting off. Sam, one more thing. How bad were the Penguins last night?
When I turned it on, I don't know who was skating for the Blackhawks. He was
Nobody
5
knew.
times faster than everybody else on the ice.
They were talking about that.
They were
he
faster.
Skated past us 2 times in a row, and then he fucking dumped that one off Jari's back, and it went in. And I couldn't believe what was happening.
Jari gives up another goal facing the wrong direction.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
What an idiot!
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was bad.
But at least
exactly what we deserve.
We don't even have to stress about it, like Chris and I said earlier. We don't have to worry about it.
Hey Sam, is there any chance that Montreal beats the Islanders?
Maybe if they forget to put the goalie on the plane.
But they were. I was reading an article today, and they were talking about Hextall and all the shitty moves he's made, and they picked up on Mikael Granlund. 20 games, he's had 1 goal and I think 3 or 4 assists, and the 1 goal he scored was the 5th goal of the game when they beat the Flyers 5-1. So that's his contribution.
Who's worse, him or Derek Brassard?
Jesus!
I think we got Granlund for 2 or 3 more years
at $5 million. Plus, they threw in a fucking 2nd-round pick for the guy. Hextall's got to be fired for that.
Yeah, he'll be fired by the end of the week, hopefully. So
should be.
Anyway, all right, Sam. Thanks for joining us. The racing analyst Sam Pavlik. As always, thank you. Chris, thank you for joining us on Bettor's Last Stand.
Guys.
We'll be back next week. Be sure and check it out. If you haven't seen our interview with Mike Florio on the radio, check it out. It's going to be on YouTube. Giant NFL writer, just incredible reporter, got his own just amazing show, Pro Football Talk. So lots of cool stuff with him. Hopefully that goes well. So check it out. We will be back next week. Maybe Coach will be here, but I know one thing, Chris and Sam are likely to be here. We'll talk plenty more MLB, NFL, NBA. We actually get ready for draft starting next week, maybe. So lots more to come here on BLS. Thanks for joining us. Check it all out on Twitter and Instagram for our picks this weekend. Good luck to everybody. Win some cash, and we will see you next week in the Pine Room.